What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got even more breaking news for Destiny 2. A ton of stuff seems to be coming out recently, but it's not slowing down. So today we learn the actual name and some info about what's going to be inside the first expansion or DLC for Destiny 2, the Osiris themed one, and we'll be talking about that in this video. So all this info comes from Kotaku. I'm sure you guys know by now. These guys basically leak everything. Jason Schreier from there has a lot of inside sources, and he gets a lot of information. In the past, he's basically leaked everything correctly about this game. So definitely a reliable source, and there's no doubt to the legitimacy of this info. So Jason starts off the article by saying, 3 years ago, Bungie disappointed fans with the first thin piece of downloadable content for Destiny 1. It's a little bit harsh. I don't think Dark Blow is that bad, but it definitely wasn't the best received. So Jason continued saying, for the sequel, the studio is aiming higher. Destiny 2's first DLC is going to center on the space wizard Osiris. Sources say that it will come with a patrol zone and new social space, making it significantly bigger than 2014's Dark Below. He said, yesterday a source sent over some high-level details on the upcoming DLC, which is called the Curse of Osiris. So that is the name, the Curse of Osiris. That is the official name for expansion number 1. He said it's scheduled to be put out in December, which of course we already guessed by now, 3 months after Destiny 2's launch on September 6th. And he said, according to those details, I've collaborated with a second source familiar with the plans of Destiny 2. The Curse of Osiris is going to come with a patrol zone on the planet Mercury and a social space on the Lighthouse. So there you go. Finally, it seems like we're going to be able to patrol and actually run around and simply explore Mercury, which we've wanted to do for a long time. We've seen Mercury, of course, in the Lighthouse. There is, of course, the Crucible maps and also even a Sparrow Racing map, but never have we been able to simply explore it and look around. So I'm really excited. I think most people would say that Mercury is probably their favorite location. It's got a really nice skybox, and simply because it's Vex related, it's just a cool planet. So this is definitely good news. We can patrol and explore actual Mercury for the first ever time. So he continues saying the DLC's story is going to revolve around saving Osiris, who's been mentioned quite a bit in the Destiny lore, but not yet seen in-game, which is true. And he said we're going to be saving them from the robotic alien Vex. We should hear more about it soon. Now, of course, if you follow the lore, you'll know Osiris is definitely much involved with the Vex. He's basically studying them, trying to figure out the darkness. He's a warlock, so he was banished for doing that kind of stuff. He used to actually be part of the Vanguard, so the same as imagine a Cora Ray, Osiris was actually that figure for the Vanguard, but he got banished by the Speaker. He was looking way too deeply into the darkness and experimenting, and the Speaker really wasn't a fan of it. So he did get banished from the city and from the Vanguard too. So since then, he's basically been on his own, just kind of weirdly wandering around. Again, no one knows where he is. There have been a lot of Grimoire cards suggesting he was meeting the Nine on Europa. There's also a lot of Grimoire cards saying that he kind of doesn't exist in this physical realm anymore, and he's kind of inside Vex homeworlds and inside Vex gate systems and teleporting through time. So Osiris is definitely one of the most mysterious and kind of interesting characters in the Destiny universe. He's kind of like a parallel to Tolan for the Hive. So Osiris is really going to be pretty cool to meet finally in game, see what he looks like. And as Jason said, we're going to be rescuing him from the Vex, so it seems he's gotten himself into a bit of trouble. Now, in terms of the expansions as a whole, this is actually pretty important because it does kind of set a precedent of what to expect from these expansions. So in the article, Jason kind of made reference to the Dark Below, and if you think back, that expansion only had, I think, like 6 or 5 missions, and the new raid, I think it had like a couple new strikes, but the bottom line is that there was no new patrol. All they did in that expansion was reuse certain areas of the moon and the Cosmodrome, and the same with the House of Wolves. There was no new locations. It was only with the Taken King that we got our first new patrol zone, and then again with Rise of Iron. So it seems like these expansions, number 1 and 2, the Rasputin one and also this Osiris one, it does seem like these are going to be the same size as Rise of Iron because they have new patrol zones like the Plague Lands we had in Rise of Iron. So that is kind of a good sense of scale for the expansions, and definitely very good news. And it seems to be a massive step up, like Jason said, from the Dark Below, which obviously didn't have a massive amount of content. Now, something else I thought was pretty interesting about Jason's wording in this article was he did say specifically by name the Lighthouse social space. He didn't say a Mercury social space, he said the Lighthouse. So it does seem like the main social space we'll be getting is going to be the actual Lighthouse, the same one. Now, if I was to guess, I would say the doors being blocked off are probably going to be unlocked because since day one, we've been looking at them saying when they're going to open, what's the kind of meaning behind this, because there is a lot of space at the Lighthouse we can't actually explore. So it would make sense for Osiris to actually return there. It is actually his home after all. It does have a lot of story significance, that specific spot. So it does sound like they're going to be giving it a bit of a makeover, expanding it, and of course populating it with vendors for us to interact and trade with. Now, this DLC in itself obviously is themed around Osiris, but the main enemy, of course, is going to be the Vex. So essentially, this is going to be our Vex expansion, which we've wanted for a very long time. Now, Luke Smith was kind of hinting towards this in the video I covered yesterday. I broke down a bunch of news that Luke Smith said in an interview with Wired, and he talked about the Vex and if they'd have a big role in Destiny 2. And he said not particularly in the main campaign, they're of course still there kind of knocking about on Nessus and stuff like that, but in the future they are going to have some kind of big stuff, and they're also going to be hinting towards that with things like the outbound signal. So inside the campaign of Destiny 2 and the game in general, there are going to be some kind of things hinting and pointing towards this Osiris themed expansion, so definitely worth keeping an eye out for. So some other news that came out today was actually Bungie announcing their live action trailer, which is going to be going live tomorrow at 10 AM Pacific time, so the usual time, 6 PM GMT. Of course, a while back, we did see the CEO of Activision, Eric Hirschberg, posting an image of himself with a sweet business. So we did know a live action trailer was on the way, but now we're finally be getting it. And you can see a really epic kind of shot of a Warlock holding his Seraph shotgun, and also the Deathstalker and a Titan with that sweet business. So this thing is going to be really cool. As a fun fact, the original Taken King live action trailer is actually the most viewed Destiny video in the world in history. It's got 20 million views, which is definitely quite a bit. But yeah, that one is actually the most viewed. So this one is probably going to take that spot and become the new most viewed Destiny video, which should be pretty interesting to see. So of course there won't be any news or new reveals in there. There might be a new glimpse of a new weapon, for example, but it's just going to be a really cool cinematic trailer to keep an eye out for. So there you go, a bunch of cool news that came out today, mainly the Osiris leak, which is really, really interesting, the Lighthouse social space, some implications of the story, and of course Mercury being patrolled. So let me know all of your thoughts and speculations down below in the comment section. What do you think of the Curse of Osiris? Of course, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would always be much appreciated. Very late last night, I uploaded an awesome video about a bunch of news that came out from Luke Smith, which is definitely worth checking out. If you want to watch it, you can click on screen right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next one.